evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Saturday, December 9, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. In the headlines this evening, GDF helicopter crash, 2 survivors in good condition. GCAA, GPF to lead investigation into deadly helicopter crash, says GDF chief. GDF dispels MADURO'S claims that team in helicopter crash was on mission to lower Venezuelan flag at border. Border controversy, UN Security Council convenes high-level talks over escalating situation, and CANU unearths 12 million worth of cocaine, 30 million in ganja. Now for the news in detail. We begin tonight's newscast by telling you that the 2 survivors of the horrific helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 5 Guyana Defense Force ranks on Wednesday are currently seeking further medical attention and did not sustain any serious injuries, according to senior Army officials. Luana McAllister has the details.
At a press briefing held on Saturday at Base Camp Ghana in Georgetown, Force Medical Officer of the Guyana Defense Force, Lieutenant Colonel Nigel Langhorne, conveyed that both survivors, Corporal Dwayne Jackson and Lieutenant Andy Crawford, were successfully airlifted from the crash site and returned to Georgetown on Friday. In a positive update, Langhorne shared that the officers find themselves in good general condition with high spirits and surrounded by their families.
For examination, namely at Georgetown Public Hospital, we were able to confirm their, what is actually going on with them, and I'm happy to report that there was no injury of significance as per se. They're all in good general condition. I had a visit this morning, and by then they were able to fully examine all of the scans and so forth. I had a visit and a talk with the survivors this morning, and they're all in good spirits. Their families are alongside them, supporting them as well.
GDF Chief of Staff Brigadier Omar Khan underscored the immediate priority of ensuring comprehensive treatment for the survivors, delaying any investigative interviews regarding the incident's cause.
We wanted to have the examination, the medical examination of the survivors done first as a priority. The debriefing of those 2 survivors will be done by the investigators. You will have a further update on that as the investigation unfolds.
The 2 surviving soldiers were left stranded in the forest for 2 days after the horrific helicopter crash that took the lives of 5 other ranks. The crash site, pinpointed about 9 miles southeast of Blake Slater's airstrip Keriku Top Cuyuni River, was officially confirmed on Thursday. A medical team managed to reach the site on Thursday and stayed overnight to monitor the survivors since extraction was hindered by weather conditions in the area. They were eventually flown to the Blake Slater aerodrome on Friday and later transported to the city hospital, where they have undergone extensive medical examinations. The bodies of the crash victims, Brigadier Retired Gary Beaton, Colonel Michael Shahood, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Charles, Lieutenant Colonel Sean Welcome, and Staff Sergeant Jason Khan, were also transported to the city on Friday afternoon. Reporting for the Evening News, Luanda McAllister.
Meanwhile, it has also been announced today that the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority and the Guyana Police Force are taking charge of the inquiry into Wednesday's fatal helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 5 GDF servicemen and injured 2 other soldiers. Here is Luana McAllister again with more.
GDF Chief of Staff Brigadier Omar Khan announced during a press conference at Base Camp Ghana in Georgetown on Saturday that the investigation into the horrific helicopter crash has entered a new phase outside the Guyana Defense Force's jurisdiction.
There is a phase now we are going into, which is the investigation phase, and that is outside of the remit remit of the Guyana Defense Force. We will now have the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, along with the Guyana Police Force, will conduct their investigation. Because we are part of this operation, we will have to provide the information to those investigators. The process has already started. We have handed over a number of items to the Civil Aviation Authority, and the police also has commenced their investigation. For this particular press conference, we will only state what we know, and I would request that we wait on that investigation to be completed.
The victims of the crash are identified as Lieutenant Colonel Michael Charles, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Shahood, retired Brigadier Gary Beaton, Lieutenant Colonel Sean Welcome, and Sergeant Jason Cann. The survivors, Corporal Dwayne Jackson and Lieutenant Andy Crawford, are in the spotlight of ongoing investigations. When pressed for details, Brigadier Cann emphasized the necessity for an official investigation and disclosed that both external entities and the GDF itself, through a board of inquiry, would conduct reviews.
We will have to investigate, find out what was done in details, and provide same to the investigators. I would want to say at this point in time, while I respect the desire to have all of these information, we want to speak to the right people. We want to talk to the people who are on the ground, the survivors. So we cannot pronounce on that right now. I prefer the investigators to go to the people who are operating in the aircraft, the survivors, for example, so we'll have that information.
Regarding the extraction of the crash helicopter, Brigadier Cann couldn't provide a definite timeline, but assured that a decision would be made soon. Lieutenant Colonel Mohinder Ramjak, however, reported that the Bell 412 helicopter with registration 8RAYA suffered significant damage, particularly in the fuselage, with only a few remaining pieces. The incident unfolded as Lieutenant Colonel Charles, with over 40 years of experience, piloted the aircraft over mountains and dense jungle in Region 7. The mission of the crew, under the command of Colonel Shahood, was to visit troops on the western border with Venezuela. Lawanda McAllister for the Evening News.
Claims by President Nicolas Maduro that the Guyana Defense Force team in the deadly helicopter crash was on a mission to remove a Venezuelan flag at the border was this morning dismissed by Chief of Staff Brigadier Omar Khan. Details in this Rupasina report.
At a press conference on Saturday, the GDF had shed light on the team's mission, which was solely to visit ranks stationed at Guyana's border with Venezuela. The servicemen were heading to visit Guyanese troops when the Bell 412 helicopter went down around 30 miles east of Arau.
We had a command visit to the border. A command visit means that we are going to visit our soldiers. As a matter of fact, I'm leaving shortly to visit my troops. The mission continues. The mission continues. I am going
to lower a flag.
Information that a Venezuelan flag is at our border.
No, there's no Venezuelan flag on our border. None.
The GDF had said he engaged with the Toshao of Arau last week when information surfaced of a Venezuelan flag at Guyana's border. However, these reports were confirmed false at the time and communicated to the community. In a time where social media is flooded with speculations, he advised that the GDF will release information once verified.
There's so many things going on social media, and I know we have to be timely in how we respond. But verifying this information, who said what, and what they said, will give us some time before we could respond.
Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
Ranks of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit on Friday unearthed some 25 pounds of cocaine and over 296 pounds of marijuana in two separate operations. Reports are that CANU officers conducted an intelligence-led operation in Providence's Bank Demerara where they intercepted a Route 31 minibus bearing registration number BLL179. A subsequent search of the minibus, which only had one occupant at the time, led to the discovery of 10 brick-like parcels suspected to be cocaine. This 33-year-old occupant of Mondesir Canal No. 2, West Bank Demerara, was arrested and escorted to CANU headquarters along with the narcotic, which subsequently tested positive for cocaine. According to CANU, the approximate street value of the cocaine is 12 million. Also on Friday, CANU officers in Region 6 found a boat containing approximately 30 million worth of marijuana. CANU said its ranks conducted a joint operation with the Guyana Police Force in the vicinity of a coker located at No. 52 Village, currently in Berbice. During the operation, officers observed a boat with 3 occupants. However, upon noticing the ranks, the individuals quickly abandoned the vessel and made good their escape. A subsequent search of the vessel revealed several parcels concealed in larger bags and suspected to be cannabis. The vessel, along with suspected narcotic, was taken to CANU's Berbice office, where the latter tested positive for cannabis and weighed approximately 296.5 pounds. Investigations into these two discoveries are ongoing. Coming up on the other side of the break, border controversy, UN Security Council convenes high-level talks over escalating situation. Please stay tuned.
Superbet, your best bet. Do you wish to pass some time and win while doing so? Play our Superbet online games. Choose from over 200 online games that are easy to play. Visit www.superbet.gy to choose your game. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. Vice President Dr. Barajagdio has issued a stern warning, emphasizing that any attempt to breach the nation's borders, including those by criminal gangs, will be met with resolute action by Guyana's security forces. Find out more in this report.
Speaking at his recent press conference, Vice President Dr. Barajagdio has firmly declared that Guyana does not recognize any extension of the Venezuelan map. The Vice President said that acknowledging such an extension would imply a flaw in the 1899 Arbitral Award, a historical agreement that demarcated the borders between the two nations. Addressing the question of incursions by illegal gangs, he placed attention on the readiness of Guyana's security forces. This is part of government's commitment to maintaining sovereignty and protecting its territorial integrity.
Our position is that it's illegal. What he has done is illegal, but it's not unpredictable because they've always had this area as part of their map, but as zona en reclamación. So we know what our borders are, and any incursion by anyone, including from criminal gangs, will be dealt with by our security forces. And so we are watching this carefully.
Recognizing the diverse composition of migrants, Guyana is taking steps in addressing the evolving situation. In looking at every possible threat, the Vice President said they remain alert for any person who might have ill intentions towards the country.
The majority of the migrants here who have come, they're peace-loving people, freedom-loving. Many of them are Guyanese, but there could be people here who have ill intent to our country. So we're not turning a blind eye to that, to our security forces are looking at that. We're looking at every possible threat to our country and our people, wherever they come from, or which can be exploited by the Maduro regime.
On Tuesday, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced several measures which his government intends to take in enforcing the outcome of the referendum held on December 3, 2023. This is in violation of the ICJ's order, which barred the Spanish-speaking country from acting on the outcome of the referendum. Rupa Sidarine, The Evening News.
We now tell you that the United Nations Security Council on Friday convened privately to discuss the intensifying border controversy between Guyana and Venezuela as the latter advances efforts to seize the oil-rich Essequibo. Here is Rupa Sidarine again with the details.
From reports, officials were tight-lipped after the meeting concluded. The closed consultations were called by this month's Council President, Ecuador, after it was requested by Guyana, an incoming Security Council member from 2024. Guyana's request for intervention was issued amid Venezuela's blatant violation of the International Court of Justice's order. Under-Secretary General for Political and Peacebuilding Affairs Rosemary DiCarlo was expected to provide the brief. The UNSC outlined on Friday as the meeting got underway, quote, "Council members are also likely to urge a peaceful resolution to the territorial dispute and express concern about its possible ramifications on the region." Many council members are expected to urge respect for multilateralism and adherence to international law and express support for the International Court of Justice, unquote. Also on Friday, the heads of government within CARICOM met to facilitate dialogue as tensions rise and pressure mounts to safeguard the region as a zone of peace. In a statement issued late on Friday evening, CARICOM said the heads of government met in caucus to discuss the situation with regard to the Venezuela-Guyana border controversy. The statement declared that the heads of state agree that CARICOM firmly supports Guyana in pursuance of the resolution of its border controversy with Venezuela through the process of the ICJ. Further, CARICOM urged Venezuela to respect the conservatory measures determined by the ICJ in its recent ruling until a final resolution is arrived at. Rupa Sidarine, The Evening News.
Following investments made by government to enhance the capabilities of the Georgetown Public Hospital, that institution is well equipped to diagnose and provide medical care for all stages of cancer. This is according to urologist attached to the GPHC, Dr. Rajendra Sukraj, who noted that early screening gives access to faster treatment. Trishelle Sobers has more in this report.
Once detected early, curative treatments such as radiation and removal surgery to stop the cancer from spreading is available for men with stage 1 and 2 prostate cancers. However, medical treatment and chemotherapy is available for men in stages 3 and 4 to help prevent many of the debilitative complications associated with these stages of cancer. During a recent appearance on the Health Matters program, Dr. Rajendra Sukraj explained all these methods of treatment are well established and internationally accepted treatment options. Further, he mentioned that over time, newer medications and advanced technological services will also become accessible.
It's cheaper to treat cancer in the early stages than in the advanced stages, and we know that it reduces your risk of dying from prostate cancer. So definitely screening works. We know that. We've seen that done elsewhere, and it's about time that we start to do that on a national level.
Sukraj said the treatment methods available are 90% effective. However, all patients diagnosed with cancer are registered with the Cancer Registry in an effort to help them regain and rebuild their physical and emotional health.
So there is always a chance that with every cancer that it can come back. So cancer patients generally are never discharged from our clinic. They always get a follow-up either every 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, where we do that same PSA blood test that we talk about. That gives you an idea as to if there is any recurrence of cancer. Right? So yes, they do come back, but they just about between 5 and 10%.
The most common risk factor for prostate cancer is age. However, diet and lifestyle changes can help to reduce a man's chances of developing this form of cancer. Nevertheless, men are advised to desist from using self-proclaimed and homemade medications that in most cases can cause the severity of the cancer to increase to another stage. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa is encouraging farmers to utilize available technology, which could help to cushion the effects of labor shortages in the sector. Speaking at a recently held Farmers Open Day at Unverwacht, West Coast Berbice, Region 5, the minister pointed out that drones which are available locally are one such technology that can be used by farmers. Andrew Carmichael joins us with the details.
According to Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, Guyana has been making strides to modernize the agriculture sector. As such, he says farmers should do the same, as he highlighted how the use of drones can further enhance the capabilities of those operating in the sector. Drones are being used to fertilize and apply insecticides and other chemicals to the rice crop, thus reducing dependency on manual labor. Drones can spray chemicals close to them, thus reducing draft and increasing utilization by over 30%. On that note, Mustafa urged farmers to embrace technology, noting that drones for the use in the agriculture sector can be imported duty-free.
Let us use the technology that we have, because today we are finding also that there are some shortage of labor. But if we modernize and if we use the technology, then we can overcome those shortages in the labor sector.
The minister, who was at the time speaking at a recently held Farmers Open Day at Unverwacht, West Coast Berbice, noted that there is a renewed interest in the agriculture sector locally, as government recognizes the sector as a very important one in the non-oil economy. Mustafa added that for the first time since the formation of CARICOM, much emphasis is being placed on the sector regionally, with countries that built their economies on tourism and oil and gas now rapidly moving to develop their agricultural sector.
Because they have seen that this sector, the agriculture sector, is one of the most important sector for us, if not the most important sector, because this sector is responsible for food security. So food production and food security for us in Guyana are very, very important.
Meanwhile, locally, Mustafa is predicting that despite the current El Nino, which has resulted in drought-like conditions, the first rice crop for 2024 should see record-breaking productions in the MMA scheme. To achieve this, adequate irrigation would be required. The MMA scheme plays a significant role in the production of rice in the Mahaica-Berbice region and ultimately in Guyana's food production capacity. According to the minister, 20,000 acres are being developed in the scheme for farmers who do not have their own land. Mustafa said government is hoping to put the relevant rules in place to prevent those who have land leased to them in the scheme and who live overseas from subletting those lands to farmers.
We have to have the people who are living in the scheme, who want the land to plant. They are the people must have the land to plant, because many areas we are trying, and especially in the rice sector, we are trying to bring down the cost of production. When you bring down the cost of production, you, the farmers, will enjoy a better profit. You, the farmers, will have better income, and also the populace will enjoy cheaper prices.
Additionally, in the fruits and vegetable sector, consumers are paying prices higher than they should because of what the minister called middlemen who have been inserting huge markups, resulting in some consumers paying 75% more than what the farmer charges. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge is scheduled to be closed to vehicular traffic on Sunday, December 10, 2023 at 2 hours 30. For a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice Bridge is expected to be closed at 14 hours 30 on Sunday, December 10, 2023, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
Ford re-elected GFF President. This and more coming up in the Sportcast, sponsored by MACorp.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Satco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
Heavy-duty equipment owners and mechanics transfer and dispense grease easily, quickly and precisely from 110 to 132 pound drums with a roughneck air-operated mobile grease pump kit from Sylvies. This durable product saves maintenance time, is designed to be portable, and keeps impurities out of your grease drum. Shop now at sylviesonline.com or visit our 31 High and Hatfield Street store. We also deliver. Call or WhatsApp 623-7755 for more info.